Welcome to AlphaCars. Today, it's a very exciting day. We are checking out 1993 Nissan Skyline R32. And of course, this is a GTR, and I'm here with Dan, our marketing manager. My name is Dimitri, I'm general manager, and Grisha is handling the camera today. He is also a car enthusiast. So between three of us, we hope and we feel we're gonna deliver an exciting content about this car. Of course, we're excited for the car to be here at AlphaCars. By the way, this is our Boxborough showroom. And here's the Nissan. The vehicle has 61,000 miles to be exact. In kilometers, 98,397 kilometers. So, which calculates to 61,031 miles. And the vehicle has very, very interesting history, a transparent one. And we have some exciting paperwork to show you. Of course, it's in Japanese, but luckily for all of us, digits are the same, so we'll be able to see the mileage. And Dan was working with the vehicle owner closely.
Yes.
To gather all the information about the car and its history. So let's start there. Let's talk about the vehicle history first, what we know, and then we'll get into unique features of this vehicle, how it was built and why it's so special. And then we're gonna we'll try to get into every square inch of this vehicle, interior and exterior, good and not so good. So let's start from the history. Dan, go ahead.
Perfect. Starting backwards, I'm going to start with the most recent owner, who did a phenomenal job of sourcing and finding this vehicle, but he actually located it out of a collector's collection who had it imported from Japan in probably the late 2019-2020 range. Over the past year, 2021, until just recently, he spent a considerable amount of time and energy making sure all the maintenance was up to date, making sure all upgrades and everything is working just as it should. Prior to this current ownership, the vehicle itself was meticulously maintained throughout Japanese history. We actually have a service book dating back to about 2 years after the original ownership, all the way up to just a couple years ago. So it's phenomenal history on this vehicle that just really encompasses kind of the perfection that goes into a Japanese vehicle, and even their ownership, their manuals, everything comes with the vehicle that is just wonderful to learn about. If you are a car enthusiast and even a history buff, it's great to see all that information retained in records.
Well, speaking of the records, we're gonna definitely check them out. And until this, I thought German cars, and Germans in particular, are the best when it comes to keeping the records. We're actually gonna take a slightly different placement of the paperwork so we can see it better with the camera. And what we're looking at here, oh, Dan, and thank you for bringing the microphone. So what we're looking at here, it's actually a service book. And for those of you that I guess have seen it in the past, it would be still impressive because it's filled out so thoroughly. And we suspect it was filled out maybe even by the same person. The writing is very, very much the same. So it starts off with the first service at 10,000 kilometers, which is about 6,000 miles. And then consistently goes through every service visit about 10,000 kilometers apart and reaches the 92,000 kilometer service. That was the last service done in Japan. And what I really like about Japanese approach to service, not only they list out the service items, but it looks like they actually have the diagrams, they have the part numbers, and the most importantly, they have check boxes for technicians and the service team to confirm the item was completed. So that's been all done, thoroughly documented. Here it is. You can see the major service has more things in it. And most importantly, the dates and mileage. Go ahead, Ben.
Yes, and what's also very interesting, it looks like to be from the same service facility as well. So it doesn't appear that the name changes at all. So it is a service facility that's seen this car since practically brand new.
Yeah, so it's possible that it was a one-owner car, but it certainly appears that it was serviced by the same facility. And unfortunately, we don't have access to records confirming it was a one-owner car, but certainly it would be reasonable to think that way.
Yes.
Since we have this surface here, I'm going to bring a few other documents. Okay, so let's check this out. Dan, can you take us through
Sure.
this? I'll hold the mic for you.
No problem.
Yep, so let's start from...
So this is pretty straightforward. This is a document about the alarm system, and it has a very unique and cool, definitely 90s Japanese style alarm system that has a full LCD display, has multiple features, another continuation of the manual, the model numbers. The radio has been upgraded to a, from the factory unit to a CD unit. Alpine CD unit. And furthermore, we have some more manuals. Unfortunately, I didn't translate these ones. This is for the factory or dealer installed rain guards.
Yeah.
That were very popular back in the day.
Yeah, and still are.
This one is for the electronic toll computer that's in the vehicle, pretty much like our
Reader.
EasyPass.
It's like a card reader.
Exactly.
Yep. Credit card reader. So you'll be able to, if you're traveling in Japan with this vehicle, you can slide your credit card in this device, and as you're traveling on the paid roads, toll roads, it will collect payments.
And then some more information about the, I believe, turbochargers and some of the updated items.
Yeah.
And then all of these cool little original service booklet holders.
Yeah, we have two in the front here as well.
So great collection.
Yep, and then this is the Nissan owner's manual, correct?
This is the maintenance manual.
Oh, that's the maintenance manual.
So
Okay.
in the very front, we have, luckily filled out with all the vehicle information, and then probably some of the best anime I've seen in quite a while, with some of the service items, going through some of the do's and don'ts, some great 90s, just literature in general.
Oh, yeah. And check this out, with a little bird.
Oh, yeah, exactly, yep.
And-
yep. It's obviously cleaning and detailing.
Yeah.
So it's really cool, you know, just from a history standpoint, like I said, of all the detail that this car comes with. And
Well, let's transition to the car itself. Before we do that, we'll also talk about why did we end up with this car at AlphaCars.
yes.
We are known at AlphaCars for an extremely thorough and transparent approach to vehicle marketing. And we definitely we're not only car and motorcycle enthusiasts, we're certainly, and it's not just us talking about us. This is what our customers tell our story in their reviews, and you're welcome to check it out. We are professionals when it comes to vehicles. So we're able to use the skill that we have as a team, as an individuals, and apply that skill to be able to identify the vehicle from the standpoint of its condition, cosmetic condition, mechanical condition. And it's not just me going around the car, which I'll do with you, and we'll be able to show you some things that we can see with the paint meter, with our own eyes, we can hear, we'll relate them to you. But most importantly, we will have our technician with us go through the vehicle in the shop and do a very, very thorough vehicle inspection. And then we're able to transparently market the vehicle and disclose anything that we know about the car. And of course, we consult with the vehicle owner from the standpoint of improvements. We sometimes get vehicles that there's no improvements. They are close to perfect, and we are happy to report. And then there are vehicles, we check them out, and we make a full assessment. And we share that assessment with our friends, enthusiasts, potential clients who may be interested in the vehicle. And this worked out for us. We've been doing it for 32 years. And this approach works. It works for us as a dealership. We have excellent selection of our own cars. And then we also have vehicles that we offer on private party sale, consignment. And it's not a consignment where someone says, here's the key, throw it on the internet. We actually take a very strict approach to the marketing of that vehicle. So definitely expect that, expect to be impressed, that's our slogan, and we always back it up. So I also have a cheat sheet. Usually it's half page. On this car, it's almost a page and a half.
Yes. Yeah.
It's got a lot of important information that Dan was able to gather. This information is in our listing, so definitely visit alphacars.com. Find this vehicle under available inventory if it's still available. If it isn't, and you're just interested in learning about this car because it's so special, you can go to sold vehicles and you can find the content on this vehicle. We have everything. Of course, we have why this vehicle. So there are a few pieces of information why it's so special. And then we have a section with factory installed options, full decoding. And then we have the categorized list of improvements in the historic timeline, and it all adds up to, in the recent years, it appears that the owner spent close to $15,000
Yes.
to bring already a nice vehicle to this condition, which is, again, it's amazing. And yes, there are some flaws, and we'll share them with you, but we feel it is an exceptional vehicle. So let's start from going over some of the things here. Again, I'm not going to go item by item because you can click on alphacars.com and look at all the details. But there are significant improvements done to this vehicle, including the turbocharger upgrade, suspension work, and numerous updates and upgrades. So definitely check that out. What we will concentrate on right now, we're going to concentrate on the vehicle itself. So I'm going to go with the camera and point out those areas that you would be interested in if you're considering to buy this vehicle. So we obviously welcome you to visit our showroom and check the car in person, in the showroom, on the lift. But if you are not local or do not have time to travel, you can rely on the information we are providing. And we should definitely touch on the color of the vehicle. We already mentioned that it's very special. Dan, what is so special about this color?
So this color was a completely custom ordered color. It's called, the color code is BLO. It's bluish gray metallic. And what makes it very unique is the limited availability. So it was a completely custom color. It was only one of 140 R32s ever painted in this color, and only one of 107 in the Series 2 version of the R32. The only other color that is supposedly more rare is red. But this is by far the rarest color, with an unknown amount still in existence and an unknown maybe in the single digits in the United States.
That's very interesting information. And so this paint code is also, we're going to look at the VIN plate, and
Exactly,
and I know it's there, so we're going to see that. But that's, yeah, that's great.
Yes.
So here is our cheat sheet here, and this is the information that is available on our website, so definitely check it out. Generally, it would be the same as this. So the reason we want to show it in the video, because you can see that recent improvements, yes, they total up to a little over $15,000, and that's since the vehicle was purchased by the last owner, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Yes. So you can see these different categories, and you can see new parts that were installed, and Grisha made a great point that for the most, well, without exception, high quality parts, either original equipment or top shelf, if you will, brands for HKS, the, where are the turbochargers? Garrett turbochargers, right there. And so you can kind of go through and see all this. So we were definitely impressed. And our technician was impressed how this work was done. We look at a lot of vehicles with a lot of upgrades, and unfortunately, more often we have to report to the vehicle owner that there are some flaws. So the way this work is done on this car is very, very impressive. And we have done some minor additional improvements. A lot of it was with paint. You can see we've done paint correction. We have done a repair on the driver's seat bolster. And it's, of course, it's noticeable, but the intent of this repair is for the seat to hold up and not to get any worse. It obviously looks better than before, much better. It's not perfect from the appearance standpoint, but I'll show it to you. It looks very, very good. And we started off with inspection. There was some maintenance on the fuel system, and then you can see cosmetic improvements that we have done, and you can go through all the prior improvements. And the most notable ones, of course, are the turbocharger, suspension, various lines and hoses, and including turbocharger lines, and of course the belts, the water pump, the timing belt, and more stuff was done. So there's one other important observation made by our team, and I think you guys, enthusiasts, and again, there are a lot of enthusiasts of the Skyline, so if you have anything to add, please put that in the comments. What we want to say is, what we wanted to say was that we thought that the improvements and upgrades that were done here, they were mainly reliability oriented and performance, not in the view of high performance, let's get more power out of this car. This was more of a really, what can we do to make this car right?
Exactly, yes, yeah. So all the upgrades to the turbochargers and the exhaust system were to revitalize and bring new life into the vehicle, but without going crazy and without upping the performance levels to something that becomes unmanageable or a maintenance and performance liability.
Oh yeah, no, it's and on the road it sits nicely. It looks original.
Yes.
There were no major modifications from the appearance standpoint. Yep. The interior, other than the radio, I think it's all original.
Yeah, the interior, the radio, the shift boot, and I believe the rear speakers were all, but they're all kind of period correct to the 90s that you might see somebody upgrade just as things progressed with technology.
Yeah, and I know when our technician had it on the road, on the highway here, when he took it out, he reported a lot of people were thumbs up, smiles, and of course this is the car that we had people just show up at the front door and they were like, oh, we've heard you have a Skyline here, where can we see it? So there's definitely, this car is an exotic, and it's what we call down-to-earth exotic from the standpoint of you can drive it every day, potentially can use it as a cool commuter, but it certainly is a drivable and enjoyable exotic. It doesn't have to break your pocket. Well, you have to be careful.
Yep.
And you
Yes.
you have to know the car. But what has been done by the last owner, I think all these improvements, all these lines, everything that I see here, and our technician reported that it's done to eliminate future costs that
Exactly,
could be much more expensive. So, yeah, and then, well, you can see it all in our listing, but you can see even the date code on the tires, condition of tires, brakes, and so forth.